Welcome to the Best Start Guide. It is day 40. We have exactly one thing to do on the itinerary, and I've already done it. That's right, I already did it. I did it last night, so that means we can just click through that, we can click through that, and we've got to the Void Keep. So in fact, today, Force Keep, done. So now we basically just got to wait until Sunday. Sunday for the Void Keep. Until then, I guess we're free to do whatever we want. So we do have some ongoing stuff. In the ASCP, we've got more Minotaur and we've got Xenoblade Master. Let's have a poke around the account and see what needs to get done. So we've got some cheapies to get. You know I like to get the cheapies. What's this look like? Is that accuracy? No. How about this one? No. Any accuracy on that? No. How about this? No. Just a bunch of no's. Here's another cheapie. Let's get him. Any 2X's? Not really. Just a bunch of progressive chances. Who's on the progressives? Oh, we got this lady. Um, I don't know. I don't really like the chances here, so no. We're gonna wait for 2X. We're gonna wait for 2X on the Ancients, on the Voids. They should be good. We want to move these guys along. This isn't at this point. I moved out the food because it max leveled and I didn't have any other food to temporarily level, so I just put in some of the other rares and epics that we're keeping, but not building yet. It's kind of awkward this stage in the game. You'll notice a pattern in what I've been saying the last week or so, that this game is really, this is where it gets hard to keep at it every day. Because we're coming in, we're looking at the, oh, and you know what? I think we hold out for a hero here. I think I might actually get 10 wins in a row. I've been holding out for easier fights. Like this fight, we better not lose this fight. That would be embarrassing. I don't know how they would manage that with a bunch of one-star food-looking champions. But I've been very cautiously waiting and trying for easier fights. And thank goodness, because it looked like we were about to drop out of Classic. I haven't been on since last night. Um, I mean, we had, what, 4 gems when I signed in, so I guess it's however long it takes to accumulate 4 gems. I do sleep, I swear. But sometimes I get up in the middle of the night to check on the game. Anyway, what do we get? We get a classic arena refill. I'm just gonna grab it just in case that goes away. I'm not sure if it does or not. But the rest of these should be fine. Win 10 classic arena defense battles in gold 1 or higher. Well, it looks like we've won 5. If we look at the arena defense. No, it's not looking at the defense, but this is what my arena defense looks like. Over here. Yeah, I got to get used to the idea that things are over here. The notes are up top, and the game is over here. I could see it, because right now I'm looking at the edit suite. Or not the edit suite, but the recording suite. But anyway, this is the champion team that I've been using, and how has it been doing? So we go to the battle logs. Defeat, defeat, defeat. I mean, getting defeated by this team, that makes sense. Getting defeated by this team, it looks like there's somebody else with a very clever way of building his team. He hasn't bothered to max out these two because it's unnecessary. I don't even know what Giscard would do for this team. Possibly nothing. Giscard seems to be in 2 different teams, though, so I don't know. Maybe something. We got a bunch of defeats. We seem to get a victory every now and again, and a bunch of defeats. I guess when we get a victory, we're surprising them by being faster. I think that must be it. So hopefully this will just kind of work. We'll just eventually, um, we'll just eventually get there. But anyway, this is arena. We're already at the final stage of arena. It's gonna be a long slog. Upgrade 3 affinity bonuses to level 5. This will take us a while. I've not yet got one to level 5. This, what's that cost? 500? So we could do one more. Get accuracy to 5. I'll wait for CVC because it is worth a certain number of points in CVC, and really, this is a long slog. It's a marathon. We may as well wait for it. And all the while, we're probably going to start getting gold medals, possibly exclusively gold medals soon, if we can stay in gold. We check the Altar of Souls quickly, get that creepy sound. I don't actually know how loud the creepy sound comes. I guess I'll find out when I review this video. Doesn't really look like there's anything useful though. There's Quaestor. Somebody was asking for Quaestor. I don't have Quaestor. And I'm not really sure why I would build Quaestor because I've never built him before. Is he a Banner Lord? He was probably asking as a joke, come to think of it. Whoever you are, if you're still watching, the guy that commented about Quaestor, you were kidding, right? Like, what's he got? He's got attacks one enemy, remove 2 buffs. That's not a bad attack for a single target. He doesn't have any AoE effects. I don't know, maybe he's got good modifiers. Places increased damage on all allies if the attack is critical. And inflicts 30% extra crit damage if this champion has less than 50%. Okay. I can see how this guy might be useful in some niche uses. He certainly looks cool. I mean, I'm down with his outfit. It looks neat. Ratings are not terrible. Who has the worst ratings right now? Is it Fatalis? I think Fatalis has the worst ratings in the game at the moment. Fatalis Blade Master. His ratings are just absolutely in the toilet. And the thing is, if we pulled Fatalis Blade Master on this account, he'd easily be the best champion on the account. I have no idea what people are talking about. I've looked into his modifiers. I went ahead and got him on my main account. I love HP based nukers. He's not Taras. I think that's what people are complaining about. Like he's not as good as Taras. And I'm just thinking, Taras, guys, Taras is overtuned. No one should be as good as Taras. Taras should not be as good as Taras. Who am I talking about? In case any of you are new and have no familiarity with the endgame meta, Taras is this guy. And he is just a nightmare to deal with in the arena because if he accumulates any number of buffs, just any number of buffs at all, he's got this one big nuke. It's this one. Attacks all enemy. Damage increases by 15% for each buff on allies. So you have a team where they put 5 buffs on everybody, that 15% becomes an insane number. And the damage is just insane. It's extreme. It's too extreme, Plarium. And I know there are people out there that get annoyed, including Burrito, Mr. Burrito Slayer. I am sorry that I keep saying this because I know you have him, and I've used him on your account before, and it is a very satisfying feeling to just boom, backshot the entire team. But at the same time, it really feels like cheating. It's like putting in a big old cheat code and just nuking everything on the screen. And I get it. You want a good nuker, but he's overtuned. Oh my God. And he's obviously overtuned. I'm sick of people trying to gaslight me into thinking otherwise. Like I know if you can get the buffs off him before he goes for his nuke hits like a wet noodle. It sucks. He has to have the buffs for it to work. But if you speed tune your team properly, nobody's going to be able to remove that buffs. Anyway, this is not a video about Taras or Fatalis or anything. This is basically just day 40. And we're going to see what needs to be done on the account today. That's it. This is kind of like a status report. This is day 40, right? This is the problem with not recording right at the reset is I don't actually get the recording, but we got an epic book today. We got a shield set yesterday, and we're getting money tomorrow, and we're getting a void shard coming on I guess that's Sunday. Void day. Yeah, so void day, we're going to get a void. I wonder if it's going to be a void weekend or if it's going to be an ancient weekend or if it's going to be a sacred weekend. If it's a sacred weekend, we may not be pulling anything. And of course, I've invited people to comment before. If you think I should pull my shards, go ahead and peer pressure me into it. It probably won't take much for me to do it, honestly, if I'm to be honest. And I don't exactly care right now about holding out for a hero because we do have the champions we want for the moment. We have Sun Wukong. He's probably the best Lego on the account still. He doesn't really have the best gear. I decided that the best gear ought to go on Zinogre Blade Master. And she's got Brimstone. So she's got level 16 everywhere. Kale has level 16 everywhere. His stats are a little bit different than when I started. His speed has kind of taken a bit of a hit, but his damage is even better than he used to be. So now he's close to 200% crit damage. I'd love to get him to about 250. 85% and above is pretty much perfect as far as being able to nuke goes. I'd like 100%, of course, because that would mean that when I use his A3 disintegrate with the 4 random attacks, he basically send out one hit and it'd take out one of the campaign champions and then he'd move on to the next one. So for instance, it tends to happen well enough if I go to Durham right now. You know what? I need to level up a little bit of food first. So we'll go to the tavern. We can look at the food situation while we're here. But basically, we got champions to level up. And we could do that with the 20s as well. This actually means how many we could pull a bunch of mystery shards. You want to do that? I kind of want to do that and see what we get. We're going to need more food anyway, and I'm not pulling anything else. So it does make sense. So I'm going to just use up, wow, and we don't even have enough for this. So we're definitely going to pull some mystery shards. And that means it's time for the hat. I look like one of those characters in a video game that doesn't have eyes. It's a me, Shorty, yo. Let's pull some shards, yo. So here we go. I'm gonna pull 30 of them right now. I'm always hoping for a decent rare, you know. It'd be nice to get one. RNGesus, be nice to us. Give us a decent rare. No rare. What a shame. I put on the hat and everything. Well, let's see. If we level some of this food, will we have enough space for another one? So RNGesus, please give us a rare. Whoops. Ugh. And a head escape. All right, that's it. That's it. Shard pulls over. But I'm going to head to the campaign. Like, did we get a rare? I don't know. Yeah, I headed too fast. I'm sorry about that. But we're going to go in here. I might start with some ones. No, I'm going to start with some twos, come to think of it. So we'll bring her, her, and her. So, what I like to see is for Kale to come in, use his AoE nuke, drop the first wave. Just like this. Then I want to see 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. And then I want him to get the reset. He didn't get it here, though. But man, when he does, it's great. I did capture that on film before, where he comes in, he manages the nuke. The disintegrate manages to drop everybody, but we didn't manage it this time. Although that makes it less imperative that he gets his reset. But we did get a 7-second at some point. Anyway, when I get to the point that he doesn't need to be in lifesteal anymore, we're going to be able to put him into Savage and maybe also Cruel. He's already got 2 pieces of Cruel. It's even got crit damage on it. So I like this. When we have enough potions, when we start farming the potion dungeons, we can crank up the crit damage even more. I hate the substats, of course, but there's no changing the substats without screwing up the main stat. If I go for the reset ores. So, I mean, this piece is about as good as it's ever going to get. Substats are kind of garbage, but this main stat is too good to pass up, particularly with the oil roll. We could definitely go for better boots. 35 speed. Ultimately, the way I'd want to build Kale is to have speed on the substats and then just go with attack percent on the boots. Same thing with Xeno. I'd love to get her attack percent on the boots to crank up her damage. We should definitely go in and do Clan Boss. That's the wrong menu. So if we go to the Clan Boss area, it is the Clan Boss reset, and our keys are actually full. Whenever I see that, I know I've been waiting a little too long. So we'll grab our chests from normal and just immediately pump out a key. So Xeno is really catching up on Kale. At this point, she's still not 6-starred, but we're getting 12 million total. She's responsible for damn near half that. Kale is responsible for damn near half it, and Sun Wukong is basically the rest of the damage. Jamarsa and Tagore are doing almost nothing, but they're of course doing a lot of the passive protection. Tagore puts out an increased speed. Jamarsa reduces everybody's cooldowns. They both have a revive. They both have a heal. So they are doing work. It's my dream basically to get hard to 1 key. I'd also like to crank up brutal. Anyway, let's see what we got. I frequently like to leave the chests unclaimed because sometimes on an account I'm wandering around doing many different types, and I want to just make sure the chests are here during CVC because you actually get points for them. Not that it's a huge amount of points. The only one that's really a huge amount of points is the Ultra Nightmare chest, and we are just not going to get there. That is simply not going to be possible at this level. But let's see. We could hit hard, or we could hit brutal. With hard at this point, I think we're hitting hard for about 10 million now. And if you look at the Guardian chest requirement, it's 11.6. You know what? I even remember what I got yesterday. I got 11.2. So close. But that's when it had dropped down to magic. So if it drops down to spirit, that's going to be magic hour. So let's hold out for a hero, and I'm going to jump straight into brutal. And we'll see how well we can do in brutal. And the hero for brutal is the Guardian chest. So 7.232 million. That's what we want to receive. I think that's the next threshold. Because at that point, we're getting 3 different random rewards. one of which can be a void shard, one of which can be an epic book. We can also get more rare books, we can also get more ancient shards. All of these are great. But for now, all we can do is just the best we can do. In the tavern, I have about half, maybe a little over half the food needed to make Xeno, the 6-star. I could try to have a third 5-star trained up by the end of this session. But if I can't, I'll almost certainly have it by tomorrow. There's probably enough energy in a day. If you devote all of the energy in a given day to just campaign farming, you can probably build a 5 a day if you're efficient. If you have the XP doubler active and you have a campaign farmer who's reasonably quick, even if your campaign farmer's not quick, you could always just leave it farming overnight. There's no rule about having a campaign farmer that can farm fast. It's just a lot nicer if you can get a campaign farmer to farm in 6 or 7 seconds or even 11 seconds. So right now I'm really happy with the way Kale campaign farms. I can't complain. He's not the fastest in the game, and if tomorrow we pull one of the main campaign farmers that I like to recommend, which would be Fellhound, who is a rare, but a very good rare, Bellower, who's a rare, but a very good rare, Skullcrown, who is an extremely good epic. Any of those three, and I'd say that's your permanent campaign farmer. You never need to look for a campaign farmer again if you find them. Mr. Burrito Slayer has built up on his account Saurus, who is an uncommon, and man, check out his channel. I'll dig up a link to it and I'll put it in the description for anybody who's interested in the really fast campaign farming. His video showcases just how to do this with Saurus. Saurus will be faster than Kale or whatever other starter you may have chosen. I think the fastest starter for campaign farming is in fact Kale or Galek. So just in case you chose Galek and people keep telling you that he's like the worst, well, at campaign farming, I think he's tied for first with Kale. I mean, that's about it though. Beyond that, I'd still recommend choosing Kale if you can, or Thel if you can, because I do like a Thel for her weaken. This team has the big version of weaken off Xeno, but it's not consistent. She can't land it all the time. It's a 30% every time she hits, but at least she gets a chance every time she hits. With a Thel, it's a 100% chance, but it's just once per attack. And on top of that, you always have that 3% chance of missing, regardless of what your accuracy is. Anyway, this is very rambly. What's my point? Do I have a point? My point is I'm obsessed with this game, and you're here, so are you. So we're at 4 million, 12 turns in. I think this team can probably hang on until at least turn 20. Maybe I'm remembering this from a different mode, though. But anyway, I'm holding out on the previous mode, on hard. Maybe today will be the day that we get lucky, and it'll switch to magic, and then we can one key. But really, I'd want to consistently one key anyway. And Xeno will get us there. It's just a question of building Xeno to that point. So I got to get her to 6 stars, which I should be able to do that in the next 2 days. But then there's the masteries. And the masteries may take another 3 days before I have enough red scrolls on her. Part of the big issue is I don't have a solo farmer for Minotaur. I just don't have one. My Kale and my Sun Wukong, even together, can't stay alive. Even with Xeno, the three of them trying to fight together, they can't stay alive. They need at least one support with them. I could try running it again and knocking out one support and seeing if that's enough, but I suspect even that would be a problem. Because when I take a team... Oh, we only got 5.4 million? Is that even enough for the first one? That might not be. 5.424, and we got 5.41. What? What, game? Come on, game. So we're not even getting a chest right now in Brutal. We'll have to come back and put a second key in that to qualify for anything. But the good news is that when we do that, let's say we only score 5.41 again, we're definitely going to be in Guardian chest territory. I wanted to see if we could get there in one chest, but two is fine. It's fine. So we can come back with a second key. I really want one of these void shards. It did happen once already. You guys saw it, right? That one time that it happened, we got a void shard. It's day 40, and we've received one void shard from Clan Boss. We've received some void shards from other things too, but that was an exciting time. So campaign farming, we're most of the way there for the day. We could of course campaign farm with all of the energy, but I did say I was gonna go through and look at the stuff that dropped. Doesn't look like we got a random rare when I clicked through. We did get this guy yesterday or the day before. Um, and he's got a really neat kit. Uh, we also got Sorceress. Sorceress is not a particularly good champion, but she is on the list that we need, along with Justicar and some others for the fusion. What's on the fusion? Because this is the end of the track that we're looking for. So at the very end of the mission track, we need her, we need him, and we have two of them. Awesome. We do have one of these guys, and I even locked him. I think I wanted to build him. So we could try to farm for a second. I'm not really sure why I've locked him, though. Did I give him gear? This is one of those questions. I mean, the game goes on so long that you forget why you do things. So, of course, his name is Executioner. And I locked him. I haven't put any books into him or anything. It's not like... I'm just going to unlock him. Because honestly, this guy is a fusion champion. That's what he's for. That's why he's here. I'm not going to bother farming him yet. Because we're a long way away. We're about 27 out of 75 towards when we're going to need the fusion for these two books. Looking forward to getting these two books, though. These two books, we're also getting some more books in from the missions. I'll probably still give the books to Sun Wukong. Honestly, I think he's probably still a better priority than Xeno, even though she is top priority for Clan Boss. But I think without her books, I think she's absolutely fine. Most of her damage is coming from supplemental stuff. Like Brimstone is coming in because she's got 3 hits here, 4 hits here, 4 hits here. We do have the extra chance of Leech. I'd love to get this to 100%. And I'd love to reduce the cooldowns on them because the modifiers on these attacks are better. This puts speed on the whole party. That's handy. Basically, between her and Tagore, we're getting speed on the whole party the whole time. Meaning maybe Tagore is the one reviver I want to leave in, and then maybe swap out Jamarsa, maybe in place of Kale. Not Kale. This is Apothecary. I meant to say Apothecary. So I had to replace Apothecary's boots because I stole them and I gave them to Xeno. And the only other pair of Relentless boots are this pair of 6-star HP Relentless boots that I got from winning one of those arena tournaments. There's another arena tournament on, come to think of it. I could try to win an arena tournament again. Arena tournaments are probably the easiest one for a player like me because I have a tendency to hang around the arena and look for fights that I can win. Like this fight, we might be able to win this fight. And we might not. I don't know. Hit refresh. We can almost certainly win this one. It looks like the idea behind that one is to just speed boost into a Thell's nuke. But something tells me my team is faster. So if we beat them to the nuke, we beat them to the nuke and we win. Anybody else we want to come in and just nuke? This team looks ripe for the picking. And this is absolutely how I'd recommend you build your teams. I remember when I first got started in this game, I had one legendary. Oh man, unkillable. That's annoying. I'll just make sure she goes down. Okay. When I first got started, um, I wasn't building my nukers to hit hard enough, and instead I was trying to build tanky champions that could outlast the enemy team, and some of these fights would take 10 minutes, especially if I took on a team with miscreated monster or even an apothecary that was particularly healy, and then I'd just be wailing away at them. I ended up building a champion. It was Manaya that could put heals on herself, so she did have a lot of staying power. I'll show you the champion I was using. This is not a champion you see often because not a lot of people have her, or at least not a lot of people use her. It's discount Disney Princess Manaya. And she has block debuffs. Sometimes that doesn't even work if she's by herself. But she's got heal reduction, so she stops them from healing with this move. And I'd put her in a destroy set, and I just use her A1 to continuously put heals on herself. And I'd use masteries to crank that up. She'd even boost the whole team by 19% speed. That was part of why I liked having her in the team. It just let me go faster. But that is a very niche strategy, and honestly, it's not very fun. Very quickly, you get bogged down in the arena. The thing I recommend is you just take your absolute best team. She was a contingency plan anyway. She was my speed aura. So Sun Wukong is now the speed aura. He's also kind of a contingency plan. But basically, it all comes down to going first. So this is the fastest champion on my account, still. She's got 246. I still have not bothered to give her a ring. Not really sure why, but then again, she doesn't need one. She's going to be squishy as hell no matter what I do. But I could give her a ring. I don't know. I don't know. We could poke around the gear as well. It's been a while since I've looked. We could look at fitting, equipped. We'll go with priority speed. High. Hello. And I'd love to get her a pair of 6-star speed boots. This is another thing we could work on. Given there's just nothing on the mission track that we can do before Void Day, we can look for anything that would improve this. 6-star speed boots would, of course, be an improvement. You just need the main stat to be speed, and it goes all the way up to 45. 5 stars are 40, 4 stars are 35, 3 stars suck. Don't build the 3-star boots unless you absolutely have to. If you got nothing but 3-star speed boots, my condolences. But yeah, this 35, I'd love to crank these up. So we got another pair of speed boots here. So we could eliminate the boots by picking everything else. And just at a glance, I can see these 5 are the top 5 pieces. Anything else would need to be rolled. So are there any epics? This is an epic. Does it have speed on it? No. So anything below it is not going to have speed on it either. That is not likely to roll an extra 10. So that's not going to be faster. This has speed on it. That's intriguing. Okay. Let's see what we get. This is 2024, year of the YOLO, so we're just going to roll it straight up. We got 1 extra speed roll, making this possibly the second fastest shield on the account. It'll be good for somebody, but it's still not faster than her gear. So do I see any other purples or blues that need to be rolled up? Oh, that's got speed on it too. And very quickly running out of stuff. This is now the second fastest shield on the account, and it's faster than hers. 9 plus 1, and this is that's an 11 plus 1. Oh, well, then I have to try it on, don't I? So I can even put a speed glyph on it. I like to just use, I've got so many 1-star speed glyphs now that I'm perfectly comfortable just throwing this at whatever piece of gear I have. This is why it pays to frequently farm the Faction Wars stage. So we're at 248. And is that it? I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. All right, so let's equip it. So we're at 248 speed. We've gained 2 more, and that means I could actually get her north of 250 if we could finally fill out the Guardian Ring. I still need more duplicates of these rares, though. I either need more of the Devil Dogs or more of Diabolist herself. Until then, we can't get that. But once we get that, we'll be at above 250 speed on a day 40 account or day whatever it is when we get to that point. How long have I been recording? So we're about 36 minutes in. I do like to just kind of poke around the things we can do for the day. Hey, look, we even have the Demon Spawn Crypt open today, and the Ogre Crypt, and the Dwarf Crypt. So we got 1 star in the Dwarf Crypt, 3 in the Demon Spawn Crypt. I mean, we may have a lot of trouble pushing the Demon Spawn Crypt. We do have a lot of Demon Spawn, though. We've even got this new guy. Could be fun to bring him if we put him in some decent gear. But I think we're probably still looking at a day of farming stage 1. I don't know. We could push it. What do you think? Why are you being so slow today, game? What is the holdup? I'd rather use the energy first, honestly. Um, and let's take a quick look back at the arena. Anybody else I want to hit? No. I really don't want to end up tangled in any kind of Ultimate Death Knight team, and I'm seeing him here. Fully Ascended Ultimate Death Knights are just bad news if your main nuker is Kale or any of the starters. And the Duchess team, I don't know, we beat a Duchess team before, but I feel like we just get knocked out of gold this time. And I like hanging out in gold. Mind you, we don't have to be careful anymore because we already got the multi-wins in a row. But I don't know. We could continue to collect defense wins if they happen. We're almost at this one, in fact. Stay in gold for 2 ranking periods. That's going to be the challenge. And this is, of course, something that's going to take a while. We can actually do this even if we get knocked out of gold. So if we find it's easier to farm silver than gold, we could just deliberately drop back to silver by changing up our defense to I don't know, just a gimpy solo champion. Sometimes I see people do weird stuff, like putting a solo champion, but putting that solo champion as being just their Kale or their Skull Crown, and that's not a real gimp defense. That's a trap, or particularly irritating. I think I've pointed this out before, but another Dark Elf. His name is Paragon. Man, you see this guy as a solo defense, and then he comes out with his place is unkillable, and it could get booked down to a 2-turn cooldown, so he'll just keep placing unkillable on himself. And if you don't have a team that can handle that, you're stuck. You've already lost. It's irritating as hell. Why do people do that? I don't know. People are trolls. People love to troll. Man, when are we gonna get a cold heart? See, this is the one that I want. She's the one that I want. This is the one that everybody wants when they're pulling them. I was watching Beanie's channel the other day. He pulled like 3 of them. God damn it, Beanie. God damn it. Give me a cold heart. And there are a couple other champions that I'd also love to see drop out of that Void Shard. It'd be nice to get more Void Shards, honestly. The other really, really good one. one that I think is just absolutely OP for all kinds of areas of the game is this guy. He's still no cold heart, but I mean his A1 is completely amazing. Basically, you build him with 100% crit rate so that this works. You get a double shot on the A1 with a decreased speed. There's like no one else in the game with an A1 this good at decreasing speed. Like no one. And the other two, they're 3-turn cooldown attacks. He's got two of them. They're both area of effect. They both have useful effects. Increase accuracy, decrease defense on all the enemies. And this one, which just gives him a lot of turn meter so he can cycle through his turns really quickly. Man, great champion. We need to see more good rares, Plarium. And actually, while we're on the subject of good rares, there's a new rare, and it's this guy, Bowsmith Flannan. I was looking at his kit, and honestly, he looks like he's another really good one. So he places increased attack on all allies, and then he does an ally attack, which is pretty cool. I mean, that's basically like this is still a fairly decent hard hitting attack. But then he's got this AoE, which can place decrease speed on everybody. But then you got this. He's got a 50% chance of getting an extra turn when he places the decreased speed on a bunch of enemies. Basically 3 or more, which should be all the time if you fully book this ability. So I'm looking at this and I'm like, his AoE will let him just immediately go again. He might be able to switch into this ally attack. His A1 is cool as well, because what I like to do with rares, particularly toward the end game, but even in the early game, I like to have good crowd control, and this guy's already got it. He's got a stun on his A1. He's got a 25% chance, 2 different hits. That books to 40, so that's like a 40 and a 40. 40%, 40%. You put him in a stun set, and he gets an additional 18%. And then you can increase each of those 3 chances by 5% with the right mastery. So it becomes a 45%, 45%, 23% chance to stun every time he uses this. And he's defense based, and his defense is good. So like if we happen to pull this guy, this would be the perfect opportunity to build him because this is an early account. But honestly, I'd build this guy out as like the main um, faction damager, at least, because we want one per faction. And I'd want to use this guy. He's awesome. He's giving himself an extra turn. He's got tons of crowd control potential. I mean, you could give him a counterattack set of accessories, and he counterattacks with this, a 45 plus a 45 plus a 23. I don't know how to do that math exactly in my head, but that's roughly a 3 in 4 chance to stun somebody that you're hitting. Roughly. That should work out to about 75%. It would be a crazy high percent chance to be able to stun somebody. Anyway, we want our food. So where are we at? Let's check the food situation. So Xeno has, oh, we got 3 of them. I think yesterday I only had 2, so I went ahead and leveled a 3rd. So we only need 2 more to have enough chickens. We need 3 more chickens. So we go to the 40s, and let's see. We have 1, so we need 7 more 4-star chickens. That's it. Just 7 more. And we need 3 stars to feed them, and I'm not comfortable feeding any of these. I kind of want to hold on to the graybeards so that I can book the graybeard that I want to use. So this one is a book. This is part of a fusion. These 2 are both void rares. I think I've discussed maybe just turning them into chickens anyway. I don't know. It's always awkward at this stage in the game because I look at champions and I can see that I kind of need most of them. Like I want her for the faction guardians. I kind of want to build this guy. So that basically leaves a single sniper and nothing else. So we need to level a bunch of 2s. That's basically the takeaway. We need to level 1s to 2s. So we do that. We go to the campaign. And really, Brimstone Path is the best return on experience, but I also want to farm it because I want extra Diabolists. I want extra Devil Dogs. That's not even the name of that unit. I don't I don't know why I've completely blanked on the name of this unit, but whatever the Devil Dog is that drops from this area, if we get a bunch of duplicates of that, that's going to help us in the faction wars, in the faction Guardian Ring. Not faction wars, in the Guardian Ring. It will help us in faction wars, but that's not the point. The point is to help us everywhere by cranking up Diabolist stats. And it's bugging me, so I want to check out his name. It's Hound Spawn. This guy. Man, look at the design on this guy. This is not a dog you want to mess with. He's got an armored head and glowing red eyes. You see a dog like that, you run. You run, you immediately climb a tree, and you stay in that tree. That's it. Your day is completely effed in the bee. That's it. You're just hanging out in a tree for the rest of the day. So we need to increase the level in the tavern as well. We got like 102 brews. You know what I want to do? I want to even... Because we could crank up the levels of these guys. I know we're going to have to level Justicar at some point. So let's just max. Boom. That gives us the qualifier for this, for win 7 campaign battles. That's easy enough to do. I really wish we had the fast travel so that I could just click on the bottom bar. On a more advanced account, you can go to campaign and just immediately click on the last level that you farmed. I don't know why it takes so long for it to show up. I think it's dependent on your account level, and the account level required is something like 60. I don't know what it is, but that's way too high, guys. Level 60 means you've probably been playing for something like 4 months. Like, give it to us at the beginning of month 2. Give it to us at level 40 or level 30. Heck, I mean, why does it take so long? Anyway, is there anything else terribly interesting that needs to happen today? Because we'll just farm out the food. I'll do one status report on masteries as well. That probably needs to happen at the end of this fight. Boom. So, let's look at the masteries. We've got Kale full. We have Sun Wukong. He's... In order to get the top mastery for him, we need to get this to 350. So once we get 350, and we could take War Master. That would probably be better for Clan Boss temporarily, but I really want to get him Helm Smasher. Because I want to use him as like the main sneaky nuker on the team. So when he comes in with his A2, the Wonder Staff of Wonder, that's what it's called. We've already even got the damage maxed out. He's got the extra 30% damage already. He's got 4 pieces of Savage. His modifiers are not great right now. I'd love to get these up even higher, but at least he's above 3,000 attack. His crit damage also could be higher. There's a lot that needs to happen. I think we need to farm Fire Knight to get some better gear. He's got enough accuracy as well. Accuracy's decent. I'd love to push this to about 200. Just so we can handle any content up to Hydra and level 20 dungeons. I think with 200 accuracy, you have enough for the bottom level of Hydra, which is something we need to be able to handle at some point. I have some thresholds here set aside in the notes. Where did I even put them? Oh, here it is. So Hydra, we need 1.66 million or better on a single key. And the stats for the Provoker, this is the most important thing. The Provoker needs to be faster than the Head of Decay, which is 190 speed, and you need 145 accuracy to hit him. So that's why these are the stats needed on the Provoker. Maybe I should put Provoker instead of Provoke. So the Provoker needs these stats. That's what the Provoker needs. So once we can do this, and for now, The provoker is going to be Master Butcher because he's really the only champion. He's the best champion we have for that. We have other provokers. A tour is a provoker, for example, but getting his stats to there is another thing entirely. I like using him as a shield champ. You could see how much shielding he's adding when he's included in a team. It's a lot. He's one of the toughest guys on the account, even though he's still only a 4 star. He brings quite a bit of shielding, helps protect the food champions if you have to in faction wars. Um, and his provoke. Here we go. So he's got a provoke on 2 of his moves. So he's got attacks 2 times at random. So really, you can only guarantee the first hit would go against the head of decay. And that'd get you up to a 75. And that's if we book him, and we're not booking him. There are better places to put books, epic books, at the moment. So it'd be a 50% chance, and we get pretty much a guaranteed one with Master Butcher. So that's why it's got to be him. He just places it. It's for 2 turns, which is awesome. I think that might make him even better than the other guy that I would prefer. Maybe I just say that I prefer this other provoker because I have a bias for the barbarian faction. I just love the barbarian faction. How have I not made the red dots on Jamarsa and Haikatoon go away yet? Like, yes, I know they're new. I have them. Plarium, we need a button that just clears that temporarily, because sometimes we've got, particularly towards the beginning of a game, we might get like 50 champions. We don't want to have to click on them in this mode as well. It's too much. But anyway, here we go. Sentinel. This guy. It's his A1. I would absolutely love to pull this guy because then you got an A1 that works. I love his A2 as well. And usually I put him in a stun set because there's so much synergy here with a stun set. But basically you can come in, you can do the decrease attack, heal reduction, and a stun to just slow down the whole enemy party. And on his A1, he's got 60% provoke, which books to 85%, as long as you've built him with a maxed out crit rate. That's the caveat. There are some players out there that build all their champions in max crit rate. I think that's a little insane, personally. I think you should really only be doing that with your nukers. But in an ideal world, yeah, I guess you do want to build everybody to 100% crit rate so that they can get decent hits. But that's that. So I suppose this is another goal, and it is listed here in the kind of later on goals. I do want to get to Hydra, and basically once we have this set up on Master Butcher, and really Master Butcher's probably better. So I don't think we need to hold out for a hero. I think we have our hero. I don't know if you saw the episode where I pulled Master Butcher, but I was so excited. I still think this guy is an absolutely amazing champion, and I want to build him 2 ways, right? I want to not just have him with enough accuracy and speed, but I want to have him with enough bulk. And really, to get him there, he'd have to be one of our first. He'd have to be one of our first 10 fives. He's not going to be one of the first 5 fives. He's not quite useful enough to be that. For the first 5 fives, I think we're still looking at these 5. These guys here. Possibly Apothecary. And Apothecary would be replacing one of the revivers, but the team is so much safer with both that it's kind of hard to go for. Like, if I hadn't been lucky and pulled Tagore, but I did still have Jamarsa, then Apothecary he'd be an easy 5th. No question. But as it stands, we need to go after food for Xeno Gray. Xeno. The Scholar Xeno. And for the Masteries, we need to get all the way to the Red Scrolls and all the way to 550 so that we can reach Giant Slayer. That's the goal. That'll take a while. I don't know why her scrolls are so low. Maybe she wasn't in the fight for anywhere near as long as Sun Wukong was. Because he's been on the account since the very beginning. Basically, he was like our 3rd champion. We started with Kale, then we got a sniper. I don't know if we still have the sniper that we got, but here's a sniper. Um, but the snipers are basically being treated like food at this point. But we got oh, and then maybe you get a couple other food champions first. But then we got Sun Wukong, and he is just busted good. And we even got this mastery for him. Now that they've updated the blessings, come to think of it, this plus he's going to have a much greater amount of HP now. It hadn't occurred to me to look at this difference, but now his HP, it was probably at like 2200 before this, or maybe 2300. And now it's a whopping 7500 more. And he's got more attack too, because he only had the plus, what, 400 before? So these blessings are a lot bigger now. And so Kale, this is probably why my numbers are up somewhat, in fact, because Kale has, this looks like a far lower number. Maybe it is a far lower number for the blessings. Wow, there is a big difference. He only gets 2000 HP, and the Legos get 7500. Wow, that's a big disparity. Does the disparity really have to be that big, Plarium? I mean, I would like to be able to build more rare units. They could be worse than the legendaries, but do they really have to be like way worse than legendaries? I mean, especially the starters. I feel like, you know what, Plarium, listen, buddies, treat the starters like they're special. You know, Elhain, Galek. I mean, you guys love Galek. He's in like all the commercials. So Galek and all of his friends that he seems to not like, particularly Elhain. I don't know why he's so happy a dragon eats her. Like she was their backup. You know, as soon as Elhain dies, the rest of them just die too. But anyway, maybe the starters should have a bit of an extra bonus here. Maybe even if it's just your starter. And this could actually be very fun, having like a more customized version of just the starter. And this is, of course, me being very Pokemon-y about the game. But when you start Pokemon and you start with a starter, you choose your starter. That's probably the guy that you're going to be using, or the gal that you're going to be using for most of the game. And it'd be nice to just have a little bit of customization. You know, maybe give Kale a goatee. Maybe maybe make him bald. You know, just modify him a little so that he's more like me. I could have like the me version of Kale. But anyway, I suppose it is what it is. Plarium is not going to change this. Why would they? But man, put me in charge. Put me in charge, and I'll make a bunch of implementations into the game. The players will love it. The players will love it. You guys will make more money because more people will be excited to actually spend in Raid rather than feeling dirty when they spend money in Raid. Um, but the attack plus 450, if we could get Kale the 2-star soul, and this is something that I would like to keep an eye out for. Um, so each day we'll come back to the soul merchants. This can happen twice a day, in fact. Come back to the soul merchants, look for that 2nd-star soul, because getting an extra 450 attack on Kale would be pretty good. So it is hard to complain because, of course, we're still getting more stats now from the blessings. And the blessings are reasonably accessible when you're talking about rares because you do start with enough resources to get probably all the way up to a 3-star blessing with your starter. But really, I think the sweet spot would be star number 2 for that extra 450 attack. What are we at now? 3000. So he'd be above 3500. That'd be a really good attack. We get that. Campaign farming is going to be faster. Damage to the Demon Lord's going to be better. Anyway, I think I've gone on long enough. That's the status report for the day. It's actually been an hour. It's like 59, 54, 55. 57. Anyway, thanks for stopping by. See you on the next video.